That's a nice touch, Doug.
We're live.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's May 4th. At this time, I'll please ask everyone to stand and say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Bingaman. This time, everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. If we're all good with that, the only thing I had, Doug, is you got the new Fair Board member.
I did, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. I think we can add that to next week's
Next week.
agenda.
Okay, just want to make sure you knew that. Just starting. Everybody's good with the agenda. I'd entertain a motion.
I'm good with it. Good with it.
Yes.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as it stands.
Second.
Move to second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we'll wait 4 minutes for, I guess we're gonna wait 10. So let's go ahead and do the meeting minutes of April 27th. And they looked good to me.
Good to me.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at them. My email
You wanna
went down over
take
the
a few
weekend.
minutes?
But, yeah, sure.
We got a few minutes, take a few minutes. Do we have people on the phone, do you know?
We do, Mr. Chairman. We will be having Bo Peck
Okay,
from Pro Recycle at 10 o'clock. We will be having Mr. Eric Weisseth at 11:30. And we potentially will be having, I think I skipped over one, 10:30. I don't know if the city of McCall is going to be calling in for that continued public hearing.
I'm
And then
assuming.
Stephanie Nelson will be calling in at 12:30.
Doug, we haven't had on our agenda either, which I should have pointed out, but for the commissioners to have a discussion on kind of what we're working
Commissioner Mopin, I have that on the agenda for next
for
week.
next week. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Okay, sounds good. Come on. I've gotten your email, but it doesn't want to load. Let's try again. Good morning.
Morning.
Happy
Morning.
Monday.
We got our masks on, we'll do our 6 feet.
Perfect.
Oh,
I've decided I like the mask idea. I'm kind of get a smoky glass kind of looking thing, have a face shield, so I don't even have to put makeup on.
yeah.
So Doug, I have yours. It shows that there's an attachment, but it will not load. Interesting.
You wanna look at mine?
There we go. It just loaded.
Ugh.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. I believe Mr. Metzner, Andrew Metzner, will also be on the phone at 9:45.
Doug, have you taken any of the NACO conferences, the webinars on all the federal reimbursement and how to get into the portal and all that stuff?
Yes.
You've taken all that? Okay. I figured you were. I listened and it half went over my head, so therefore I just wanted to know how much further I needed to dig.
Some of that stuff is like, what?
The only thing that we'll probably be requesting reimbursement from, a lot of it is going to be through the state, but specifically for the elections. And then we do have some IT equipment that we might be allowed to apply. But the election cost, the additional election cost is going to be reimbursed directly through the Secretary of State's office.
One of them that I was on was talking about if you required employees to furlough at home, that those funds could be reimbursed.
Hmm.
And we required Carol, Jeff, Candace, there was a few of them.
Okay,
And so those 2 weeks cost.
I'll look into that.
This webinar was talking about the fact that you could get those reimbursed.
I'm good with the minutes.
Okay.
Anything there that I saw.
So I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes of April 27th.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And everybody got the list from June on the exempt properties? Oh,
So June is,
Christie's going to present.
okay, are you presenting for Quaker Hill or are they having a conversation at all or no? I didn't see a letter from them with their request so that I could actually find out why they were requesting it with the codes. Was there any kind of a letter of request or anything? Okay,
I don't know. Oh, you have it? Ah.
June, did you bring a hard list? Did you bring a paper list?
Yeah, he has one.
Because I can't seem to find it now.
it's in the email that Doug sent out with all of our
Oh, is it? Okay,
stuff
packet?
together.
Okay. Thank you. There it is.
You don't need to bring me the letter.
No, well,
You might want to read it in just so that we know why they're requesting it, why they feel like they meet one of these exemptions. Because I was looking at the exempt status codes and I'm trying to figure out which one they're coming under. Religious, is that what they're looking
Yes,
at?
Which one were you talking about
And the exempt.
Quaker Hill.
for Quaker Hill?
Yeah, for Quaker Hill.
So do you want me to go ahead and read that now, or
Do
do we need to get
For a second.
Started?
give us a few more minutes.
Okay. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hopefully you're laughing in back of that, not crying.
I have to laugh so I don't cry. I'm completely dead in the water. My computer is dead.
Well, you know what? I guess that this totally exempts needing Kleenexes right now. Kleenex stock's gonna go down because it catches our tears, it catches
Exactly.
our nose running, everything.
One way to look at it.
No, that's probably some.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Doug, the other thing that they were talking about, as far as reimbursement was all of our PPE and masks, any shields we had to buy,
Thermometers.
hand sanitizers, thermometers, any of our janitorial staff that we had to bring on for extra,
Okay.
all of that was reimbursable.
Hopefully all
And-
those plexiglass screens we got too.
And any workers that are here specifically to check temps and direct traffic in the courthouse. So that part-time position. I was taking notes.
All right, you guys come on up and we'll get into our next item, which is the presentation of tax exempt properties. And we've got a list. So, go ahead.
I'm Christy Hamilton, and I'm here to present the tax exempt properties that we have this year. I've got June Fulmer with me. She's the one that always did this, and I'm kind of taking it over.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. So do you want me to go ahead and read this letter from Quaker Hill now?
Sure.
Who is applying for their tax exempt status under the religious exemption. It says, "Dear County Commissioners, my name is John Walker and I am the Executive Director for Quaker Hill Camp and Conference Center. I'm writing to request the tax exempt status for parcel number RP 0025500J000A. It was my understanding these Payette Lake Club lots were previously tax exempt as equestrian space for the condominium association. Last fall, Quaker Hill acquired this property from Water's Edge Condominium Association after being approached by the association. The association expressed a hardship regarding access and use of the property and therefore asked if the camp would have an interest in the property. After much consideration, the Quaker Hill Board of Directors agreed to purchase the adjacent property. We agreed to the purchase price of $100,000. There will be no income derived from this property. The primary use of this property is to enhance the overall camp experience, create a greater buffer zone within our local surroundings, and provide more space for campers. We plan to do some fuel mitigation on this property as we did on the rest of our property, thanks to Valley County and Cabin Creek Enterprises several years ago. The camp is looking great. We even have plans for a follow-up with the underbrush later this year. Thanks again for creating opportunities like this and for landowners to reduce the risk of fire in our communities. Thank you for your time and consideration. Please feel free to contact me with any questions you might have. Sincerely, John Walker, Executive Director.
So Christie, how many acres was it?
This one is, let me see. Bear with me.
It's 136.
I can't read it on here.
Can you read that? 1.204 acres.
1.2 acres?
1.204 acres.
Is it contiguous with their existing property?
I should put my glasses.
Just across the street.
Pardon?
Is it contiguous with the existing property? Yes, sir.
June, I thought there was a discussion a year or two ago about some of the medical facilities that weren't a 24-hour emergency work. Did that ever get passed, or do you know where that went? So then everything that the hospitals own is all exempt?
As of right now, yes, it is. I know there was discussion in the legislature, and I did research about 2 to 3 years ago for IAC, but they didn't contact me this past year for any additional information. So to the best of my knowledge, nothing has changed there. I think that came up mainly because there were a lot of large hospital corporations buying up like gyms and making them part of the hospital and getting exempt status on them. And I believe that has probably stopped, hopefully, that got a good hard look at it. But our situation up here with Cascade and McCall, they're still completely exempt.
The other question I had, it was, I can't remember the name of the facility in McCall that was a church or chapel, but we weren't sure. Are they on this list?
At the
Yes.
Highway Chapel.
Highway Chapel.
Highway
Yes.
Chapel. Is that on this list?
Yes, it should be in
Oh, yeah, there it is.
alphabetical order.
Yep. So did that person come in and reapply?
They do every year. They don't come in.
It's always
in
one of the
person.
first.
Yeah, they get their information back and they are registered with the Secretary of State. They've been keeping their status updated.
So it's a
Mhm.
nonprofit?
You know,
It's a church.
the church.
So part of that application, does that include dates when they have services and all that kind of stuff?
No,
Mhm.
that is not required. I was told, can you hear me? I'm trying.
Christie, yeah, she probably needs to get up to the microphone there.
Gotta move down a little bit.
You gotta-
Sorry.
You're 6 feet.
Sorry. I was told many years ago by not just one, but it's been verified by more than one prosecuting attorney. Because I was questioning status on another church situation that we had. And I was told by these two prosecuting attorneys that even if they just have one service a year, they qualify.
Okay, yeah, and I think we've looked at this in the past a few times, and it's kind of a little gray area there. Next question is, what about the Snowball Chapel down in Round Valley? Is that back on the books, or what is going on?
That
with
is still exempt to the best of my knowledge. What was it? Oh, the Snow Bowl, the one that,
Coalitions.
no, that's on the rolls.
That's on the rolls now.
Yes, that's on, she doesn't own that anymore.
That building is caved in.
It is
Yeah.
caved in, and I can't think of who bought it off the top of my head, but that has been on the rolls for quite a while. Many years,
Okay,
many years.
so is there any more questions as far as on the list?
So are we approving the entire list today?
Yes.
Okay, so not just the Quaker Hill. Okay.
You know,
Right.
one thing I
Um,
wanted to say about when you were, St. Luke's came to us, and when they submitted all of their applications, reapplications, there was one that was not given back. And so I inquired, I told them, one of these is missing. And she said, no, it's not missing, we're not submitting it. And of course, I didn't understand at first. And it was simply because they're so honest. There's a building that they used to use for visiting physicians and such. Well, that building is becoming dilapidated and they're not using it. And so they are not applying on that property. And I'm just not used to somebody being that honest.
Awesome.
They were very, very honest. So I got to give St. Luke's kudos for
So the value will be then just in the land?
yeah,
You
Well,
value the building too?
and the building. Mhm.
I know Cascade Medical Center is kind of looking at that right now too, trying to find some places to buy and build for
Right.
visiting physicians and physician's assistants and that kind of stuff, because they're having a hard time finding housing for them.
And she said if they were to get that back up, to where they want it, of course, they'll reapply. But she said,
St.
just put
Luke's
us on
owns
the tax roll.
Something down here that's some old apartments. They're not
I don't know,
using-
do
Yeah, they do. There's something here in town that's right behind the old auto.
Bob
mechanic center.
Ramopoulos' old buildings, St. Luke's, they do own that, and those are on the rolls.
Friends of Kelly Whitewater Park. So that is a nonprofit. They put all of that into a nonprofit. So when they sell one of those bare lots, then all of that remains in the nonprofit.
Just the
If
piece
they
that
sell it, no.
and they sold it to like the rec district, and the rec district, I'm assuming, is tax exempt. What about the new
Federal,
Parks building? Is that tax exempt? It is, isn't it?
I'm sure it is,
State
it's government.
Government.
Yeah,
they
so
don't
that's
sell it-
not on this. That's
Right.
just,
So
They
what
don't
else?
sell it for businesses or commercial. It's always for something like the rec center, public use facilities. And I see where Hans Barbonis has passed away last week, and he was the one that really started all of that.
huh.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, he was.
Hmm.
And so I guess my question is, so it's in the ownership of the nonprofit, so therefore the Picards no longer control that? Is that correct?
Say that again,
The
please.
Picards no longer control that? I mean, their request is under, what exempt status code are they asking?
I think they're under the charity. I don't have that list right in
Yeah,
front of me,
that's
but I
right
believe
here.
they're under charity. Like this new application that came in for Quaker Hill, anytime property owner or non-exempt church or whatever applies, they have to fill out a long form. And then it has to be reviewed by our prosecuting attorney.
Okay,
And the prosecuting attorney makes the determination on recommending approval or denying it. We have denied in the past. There have been a couple that I can remember that we have denied in the past. And so anytime you see a new one, like this one for Quaker Hill, it has been approved by our prosecuting attorney, and she has initialed it and marked off on it that she has read it and approved it,
okay.
recommended it for approval. Cannot be approved until you, as commissioners, make that approval or denial.
And we have some, correct me if I'm wrong here, June, but we have some church camps that have 120, 25 acre
Yes,
parcels that are all exempt. Same thing
Yes.
with YMCA and some of those. So, you know, we figured at one time, if you add all this in, plus the federal and state buildings, and then for us, only about 8% of our county pays taxes, property taxes.
I'm not sure of that figure, but I think you're probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe you're pretty close on that.
I think we're at 8% without taking out the church camps. So that was,
Well, and it's because of where we live.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a church camp, I'd much rather have a church camp up here than in the Owyhee County.
Yeah.
No offense to Owyhee County, but it's desert, and, I mean, we have the lakes and the
Right.
rivers and,
So Sherry, the Whitewater Park falls under 63602C, which is fraternal, benevolent, or charitable limited liability companies.
okay.
And then just because I don't know, does the cemeteries, they don't pay property tax either, do they?
cemeteries are exempt,
They're
and that's in Idaho code. We don't do anything with cemeteries. They are exempt.
So if everybody's good with this list, I'd entertain a motion to approve the list as presented.
I move that we approve the tax exempt properties as presented.
I'll second that.
Moving and second, any more discussion? Everybody good?
I need to have you sign
Okay.
this.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Bring it on up, Christina.
Thank you.
Today's date. Sign. Don't sign it. I approved. And then sign next to it.
Yeah. Yes.
Glad to be back to work. Kind of boring at home, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You
Yep.
also.
Okay, we've got about 20 minutes for our next agenda item, so we'll take a quick break if you need it. Is David coming up shortly? You know?
David, IT David?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
unless you needed him for something.
Just Need to know.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
Need to do for another badge.
Oh, I could, yeah, put in a ticket for you. Would you like me to end our stream at this point in time, or?
Yeah, I think you can until a quarter. We'll be back at 9:45.